And you're watching. Oh, I started too soon. Okay. Oh, now we're going live. Okay. Well, not really live. We're recorded. You're listening and watching the Information Security Summit 2025 podcast. I'm Robert Nettgen, and I'm coming to you from Le Center in Westlake, Ohio, where the Information Security Summit 2025 conference is taking place. And this is really one heck of a conference. Sorry, it's sold out. That's right. So if you're watching this at the time that it was recorded and you're thinking, maybe I could come there Thursday or Friday. No, sorry, it's all sold out. That's the kind of conference this is. It's just an absolute gem. Been going on for 23 years in this area. And I'm here right now with Mike Estridge, who's with Infoblox. And Infoblox is a sponsor of the Information Security Summit. In fact, a repeat sponsor.
That's correct.
And our sponsorship was sold out too. So, tip to all you who want to be sponsors, you got to get in fast. But this is a really cool conference, and thank you for sponsoring the ISS conference.
Yeah, we're excited to be here and excited to get to interact with a lot of different companies and people.
So what is Infoblox? I mean, that's a pretty cool name, but what the heck does it mean?
Yeah, so Infoblox is focused on unifying networking and security, and we do that through a couple different ways: DNS, DHCP, IP address discovery, and we wrap everything up with some DNS security. We have some really smart people who are focused on DNS security, so it really helps organizations discover all their assets on-premise or in the cloud, bring them together, and provide some really high-level, high-grade enterprise DNS DHCP.
So let's help, because some of the security nerds will take these YouTube videos and they'll scrub it and focus it and send it to the non-security nerd boss who doesn't understand what DNS means.
Sure.
All right, so we know that means domain name system.
Sure.
So what the heck is DNS to the non-techie?
Yeah, the simple way that most people explain it is in the old school days when we had phone books, right? Mm-hmm. We'd look up someone's name, it would translate into a phone number, right? Mm-hmm. That's what DNS does. It takes www.google.com and translates it into an IP or set of IPs, and that's what your machine, whether it's a phone, a tablet, or a laptop, actually talks to. Is that
DNS is the address book of the internet.
Basically, that's the easiest way to explain it.
You rip out DNS and wait a minute, nothing works?
Yeah, I mean, you look at AWS that just had an outage.
I was just
DNS.
thinking about that one.
So it's very vital to all services out there, both personal and corporate.
So DNS is also one of those many little geeky things that's used by security nerds.
It is,
to help maintain security. I mean, security is not any one thing. It's lots of stuff.
Yeah,
and DNS is one of those little tools in the toolbox for the security nerd, is it not?
Yeah, so you'll hear security stack, right, or security layers in every organization. You have different things. You have firewalls. You have EDR used to be antivirus. You have
so EDR, what does that stand for? It's another one of those TLAs. Yep. We got so many of them nowadays.
It's endpoint detection and response. You used to call it antivirus or AV, right? And this is the next generation. So it's one of those things where you want to protect your users, your assets, your data, right? And there's plenty of vendors here that help do that. And we're another one that does that, right? We're another layer of that security stack with DNS security focused. And we look at the actual DNS queries that people make to see whether they're malicious or not. And we have a whole team dedicated to that.
Now, how does that distinguish from the various freebies out there, like Quad9, Cloudflare for families, that do something very similar? And I guess there was another one that was bought by Cisco, OpenDNS.
Yep.
They're very similar processes that are out there in the consumer market. How does Infoblox differentiate itself or kick it up to the next level for that type of service?
Yeah, it's a good question. So traditional security feeds exist today, and those feeds are typically 60 to 63 days in the industry before something is discovered, put in a feed, and then brought down. And that's what you get from a lot of the free options out there, or even some of the paid ones. It's surprising how many are still feed-based.
So wait a minute, you can go 63 days before we discover they're a bad guy at the other end of that
on average,
IP address.
That's what our metrics show, that we discover malicious domains or domain registers about 63 days before the OSINT, the open source intelligence community, will put it into a feed.
And so all of those groups that I mentioned, they're using that open source intelligence
Most
source
people
of
are gonna
information.
have that plus something, right? And the plus something is what sets companies apart. We believe ours is very good. We have a whole team dedicated to this.
So you've got a secret sauce in there.
Yes, we
So
do.
what can you tell us without giving us the recipe of that secret sauce? What can you tell us?
Yeah, so every domain gets registered with a domain registrar. So that's
Like a
one,
DigiCert or some other type of
VeriSign,
register,
yeah, I
VeriSign
think
and others,
Tails is healed,
GoDaddy
yeah.
and so on.
And each one of those registers, you have to point to a name server on the internet. It's called an NS record. So those also are part of the formula that we use on the back end with our machine learning and AI. We do a lot of data crunching. We have data scientists on staff. So you look at where it's registered, where the domain points to for the DNS entries.
I said DigiCert. They're a certificate registrar. They're not a domain registrar, as I'm thinking out loud.
I mean, everybody's gotten into domain registration these
Yeah.
days. So
Google's
they
a
might be
domain
one.
registrar, or at least they were.
AWS, they have a
AWS.
partnership that you can do it. So
Hover, that's the one I was thinking of, hover.com.
Okay.
They're a domain registrar.
Yeah, so registrar, name server, and then the IP address that a domain resolves to. Those are three very interesting and useful pieces of information that we use along with other secret sauce. I give you a little bit of the secret sauce.
So I heard a security nerd say you should use a different name server than the one your registrar offers. Is that part of the secret sauce? Do I dare ask?
You can, yeah.
I mean, he was saying it's putting all your eggs in one basket. If your domain registrar is also your name server, say I have abc.com registered at Hover, and I use Hover as my name server. Well, I've got two things in one place as opposed to using some other DNS source as my name server. Is that part of the thinking behind this type of thing with using some sort of secret sauce, if I will, or an extra layer of information?
There's a lot of design considerations when you're putting together an architecture. So registrar, who the name server is, where you're actually hosting the content, whether it's a web server, mail server, et cetera. So diversification is very important for high availability designs. And threat actors do that as well, in addition to enterprises.
Wait a minute, the bad guys are studying this stuff too?
Yeah, unfortunately, bad guys are smarter than some enterprises out there when it comes to how they register the domains and diversify their hosting agreements. So,
now, one of the terms that I've heard used in different security podcasts, folks who do this all the time as opposed to amateurs like me who do this once a year, is reputation is being used both in terms of domain registration and I guess other elements of that you described. There may be registration or reputation elements associated with that. Is there such a thing as a reputation that can be associated with a registrar, with the registrant, if that information is known? Because, of course, you hide a lot of the information now because, darn it, all the spammers try to spam you if you put a contact info out there.
That's part of the secret sauce and the formula in the back end is newly observed domains, or nods, you'll hear them called, NODs. The registrar, how recently was it?
Did it get transferred to somebody else, for instance?
So newly registered, newly transferred, newly queried. There's a lot of newly observable data that we have access to.
Are there records of when they changed name servers? So let's say somebody was on this name server for 10 years, suddenly they're on that name server. Is that an element that would show up?
Oh, yeah. These are all different components that go into
and these are
classifying
above
a domain.
and beyond what you might find on a Cloudflare or a Quad 9. Or is that part of the open source? I mean, I don't know. I'm naive. I'm not into this detail.
Every feed is different, is what I'll say, and every vendor does it differently. I can't speak to how exactly Cloudflare does it, but
okay. But Infoblox goes way beyond just DNS.
Sure. Yes. DNS
Tell me more.
Obviously critical and key. Infoblox does DHCP, so getting an IP address dynamically on demand. When you connect to the guest Wi-Fi here at the event, right, you're getting an IP address that's dynamically allocated to you. We provide that service as well. We also do discovery and IP tracking. So a lot of organizations, there's a few here that are GRC focused, right? Governance, risk, and compliance focused. Big
The
deal.
security audit nerds.
The audit
GRC
nerds.
is
Those
short
are
for
your
the
words,
security
not mine.
security audit nerds. Now, just to try to create an idea of what they do.
Sure.
I mean, governance, risk, and compliance is a necessary function.
100%.
But the people who do well at that are the security audit nerds, where it's a specialization. They understand it. They have memorized the 3,000 item questionnaires.
Yes.
Or at least they create the illusion of having done so.
Yeah, so we can help them through IP discovery, asset discovery, whether it's on premise or in your cloud of choice, AWS, Azure, et cetera. So we have the ability to give you full visibility throughout your enterprise, along with enterprise-grade DNS and DHCP, and secure that DNS, wherever that asset may sit.
So what does enterprise-grade DHCP mean? Dynamic host chat protocol, is that what it means, or something like that?
Close enough.
Okay, I probably mangled the definition, but it's even your little consumer routers can, you have an IP address, you have an IP address, you have an IP address, you have an IP address.
Yeah.
Now, how does enterprise grade differentiate itself from that little box that just hands out these IPs?
Yeah, so there's different versions of DHCP protocol out there. ISC squared has one. They have another one called Kia, and all of them have the ability to do high availability. Manually configuring that can be a challenge, so we make that easier in the Infoblox platform. Also, if you're going to put it on a firewall or on a router or some other layer 3 device that hands out addresses, that's now become an isolated island. There's no global view into it. So we provide not only the enterprise high availability, but the visibility into the IP address, what OS is picking up that address, and then tracking it over time. So we talked about GRC, discovering IPs. You also want an audit log. We provide that audit log of what got an IP at what time and who released it, and we keep track of that over time. So when there's security events, you have a one-stop shop of where to go to find that asset, who had it, what MAC address, what OS type it was.
So this enterprise creature owns the DHCP as opposed to Windows Active Directory owning it.
Sure, yeah. And
then you feed that information back to AD to...
Nope, we can actually fully replace Active Directory, DHCP, and DNS.
You say, good night, Active Directory, we'll take it from here.
Sure.
You take over.
We have over 14,000 customers across the globe, and a large percentage of them have moved DNS and DHCP off of their Active Directory controllers for, they still use AD, right, for authentication.
So what function does AD have at that point?
It's
for the Windows nerds
users,
out there.
Groups, authentication, authorization. It logs, has some logging for who logged in when. So all that data in that function is still valuable through Active Directory. But we've taken out the critical services of DNS and DHCP off of that server, so it doesn't have to worry about.
So does that make the Windows nerds' life harder for the Windows admin nerds?
Some people love it. Some people are hesitant to release it. We do have an integration, so if you want to keep DNS and DHCP on your Windows servers, but still,
I'm not saying it's better. I'm just thinking about if I'm raised in the Windows is everything world,
yep,
as the Wizards of Redmond would have you believe, that may be my worldview, is that, all roads lead to Redmond. But
yes,
for those who are not in that insular ecosystem, they may have other viewpoints.
Sure.
Is that all roads don't lead to Redmond. And I'm just trying to understand. I mean, some of this is ego and some of this is opinion and some of this is subjective. I mean, anybody who's worked in IT understands that just like you have debates about sports teams, you have debates about approaches to technology. And so I'm thinking, is that an easier world or is that a more difficult world for the Windows administrator? I see Larry looking over the laptop here, the gentleman who's controlling the cameras and everything. He understands this stuff 100 times better than I do, so I know he has an opinion. It's like I want him to come on this side of the desk and comment, but he's shaking his head.
Yeah, what you're talking about is a philosophical debate that we see a lot in organizations. Windows servers, some are happy to get rid of DNS and DHCP. They don't want to take care of that. They care about Active Directory users and keeping that service up and running. There are others that believe that it needs to be tightly integrated and held together. So we provide options no matter what to do that. If you're looking to offload it, so your critical network services are not on a Windows box that has to go down for a patch Tuesday every Tuesday, or a blue screen of death if, God forbid, something happens with CrowdStrike or your EDR again, right?
No, that never happens.
So we're big fans of taking those core critical services off of OSs that could be corrupt or taken down or need to be taken down for patching, and put them on a purpose-built appliance. And that's our stance with all of our customers. Some choose to do it, some don't. We have some that are hybrid. DNS has stayed on their Windows box, but DHCP has been moved to Infoblox.
Now, you mentioned the reporting capability.
Yes.
And I would imagine that's got to be one of the strong selling points in the Infoblox world.
Sure.
Because no matter how much of a preference the Windows nerds have, the security nerds, I should say the security audit nerds, have some say in this matter. And if you provide information that answers all the questions that the audit nerd is coming forward with, that's got to be helpful to an organization, because compliance is one of those things that just eats up ridiculous amounts of time for a company.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, reporting and visibility is key, right? There's a huge benefit for that. It's bigger in some companies than others, if we're being honest, right? Some care more about the visibility and the knowledge of what's happening, and that's okay. That's why we're here, to help educate them and show them the value, especially in our platform. So not only do we track it, but you can pump out reports. So you want to know how your organization is increasing when it comes to IP utilization. Are you running out of IP spaces? Do you need to know where an asset was, and print that out for the last month? All that is great data for the network team, for the server team, for the security team, as you mentioned. There's a ton of value in visibility, reporting, and unification. Every Active Directory server with DHCP is its own little island, right? So if you're looking to find something, sure, you could syslog it off or send logs off to a SIM and then dive through the SIM, or you just have a simple unified interface to go find it and report on it.
Wow. And this is all from Infoblox.
Yeah.
What other good stuff do they have at Infoblox?
I mean, one of the cool things that we're looking to move more into, right, is the cloud, right? Everybody's in AWS, Google Cloud, Azure. So one of the announcements that we did back earlier this year is Google Cloud has a DNS Armor product, and they chose Infoblox as the DNS security threat intel provider of choice.
Oh, that's significant.
So DNS
I mean, Google's
Cloud,
got their own little security arm.
They bought Mandiant, right? So they're
exactly.
the real deal. So they
I
went
mean,
out,
that's huge.
Yeah, they went out and they looked at all the other providers out there. And they said, for DNS security, Infoblox is the best. We want you to power our DNS Armor product.
Not bad.
So if you're in GCP and you're using the DNS Armor product, you're getting DNS detection from Infoblox, basically.
So as you're here at the conference, I assume you're at one of the booths out there in the hallway, and you're seeing the hundreds of people walking through at the ISS conference. What are a lot of the folks saying to you in terms of the stories and your dialogue and your interaction with them here at the conference?
Yeah, a lot of the organizations are a little scared, actually. They've got the firewall, they've got the endpoint protection, but they're seeing everybody get breached still.
Right.
So like,
do everything right and you still have an issue.
Right. So what do we do? Well, you need to see what's on your network, right? So visibility, so IPAM, discovery, and we also need
IPAM, that's another one of those acronyms.
Yes,
what does that mean?
IP address management. So you know what
IP, Internet Protocol.
Yep.
AM, address management.
Yep.
IPAM.
So
if anybody's keeping track of these acronyms.
Keeping track of your IP addresses, you know where everything is on your network. So if you do have a security event, it's very easy to search for an IP or a MAC address that is causing the problem and find out exactly where it is in your network. And then we're seeing a lot of talk around DNS security, right? Because the existing security stack is only getting them so far, and they're still being breached. So we're seeing a lot of success with our DNS security approach. We have a medical company that I won't name who got breached 4 times before they finally brought us in. And as soon as they put us in, all the breaches stopped. So it's just amazing results. They had CrowdStrike. They had another firewall vendor that's right across from us here, I won't name. But they're doing it all right.
They're doing everything right, and they were still having an issue. They just needed
They need another layer,
needed
another
another
visibility.
tool to make a difference. And info blocks with your DNS. I mean, does it also feed into the SIM?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So-
All of our logs can feed into the SIM, or we have what we call SOC Insights, which allows us to selectively choose the most important items and send them to your SIM, so your SOC team doesn't have to go through all the, millions of DNS responses and queries that occur. So we have a couple different ways we can approach
SOC
it.
teams are never overworked.
Right. Or your SIM never
Sarcastically
fills
said.
up and you're paying $1 million
Right.
pound or dollars worth of storage. So
Right,
yeah.
right. I mean, yeah, it is an ocean of information that can be fed into a SIM. And I mean,
Yeah.
in the technology niche that I work in my day job, one of the things that I tell my clients is, you need to look at things to filter before you even send it to the SIM. You need to boil the ocean before you send it to the SIM so that you send only a piece of that there.
Yep.
And is that the same in your world as well?
Oh yeah, we have plenty of customers that turn on DNS query logging, and we query the query itself. So the initial, tell me what is google.com, and then the response is the IP we give back. So people turn that on, and that's millions and millions of logs.
Oh, gee, everybody goes to Google during their day?
Well,
I guess,
you'd be
yeah.
amazed
And so
if-
that would be just an endless stream of background
You'd be amazed
noise.
when you pull up your web browser, especially if you're using Chrome, how many DNS queries it makes before you even do a search in Google. So
Well, I was going to say every hit of the enter key could be a dozen or more DNS transactions. Am I right?
yeah,
I'm not, I'm not the programmer, developer, admin nerd. I'm just the ordinary kind of guy who works with technology.
yeah.
But I mean, I know that there's a dozen transactions right there that are all DNS.
Yeah, and we haven't even talked about DNS exfiltration through, stealing data through DNS queries. We haven't talked about that, like DNS tunneling.
Oh, now
There's
we're
all
getting
kinds
into
of
some
other-
heavy security nerd
Yeah, it's
stuff.
a whole nother topic probably.
What was the
but-
term I heard a decade ago? It was called DNS tunneling.
Yep.
That's a thing.
Sure.
I heard that a decade ago.
Yeah.
And only one firewall vendor at the time actually picked up on it.
Yeah.
None of the others could do it. I mean, later they all caught up, but I mean,
You can
that's a thing, DNS tunneling.
You can steal data through an ICMP, a ping packet. You can steal data through a DNS packet. And those are protocols that are typically allowed out through your firewall, right? You have to allow those out. And those can be used to steal data, and are being used to steal data in many companies.
So as the bad guys kick up their game, we have to kick up our game, and Infoblox is one of the
We're here to
ways
help.
that people are doing that.
Yeah.
Wow. Mike, I really appreciate your time, and thank you again for Infoblox support for the ISS.
Of course.
And being part of the Information Security Summit here at the ISS 2025 conference.